Hello everyone, welcome to our new live stream here from dormakaba. We appreciate you joining in. We've got people coming from around the world logging in right now, so we're excited to have you here. We're coming to you from our neighborhood here at 6161 East 75th Street. So welcome, and we look forward to talking about integrated solutions that can help make buildings more efficient. As you may remember, my name's Dan Stewart. I'm from the Switch Tech presentation that you saw. If you don't remember Switch Tech, haven't seen it, feel free to go out and check timeforswitch.com. Really exciting solution there, can provide some really cool control into your facilities as well. So today we're going to focus on some different things though. We're going to look through a building. We're going to start at the perimeter and we're going to work our way in as I fix my collar, make myself look good. And we're going to start at the perimeter. We're going to work our way through the facility and talk about how we can provide integrated solutions to be able to give customers more intelligence, more control in their facilities, to bring more actionable information to them so that they can manage their facilities, improve operations, and then bring a better user experience to the people that utilize those facilities. So we'll start at the perimeter of the building. We'll go around, look at solutions that are at the perimeter. We'll have special guests throughout our presentation, experts in their fields, in order to be able to provide us more information to highlight how these things can help customers, help building managers, and help you as locksmiths, integrators, or other people to provide those solutions to end users. So look forward to sharing. Please engage with the chat. Give us your questions. Give us your comments. Let us know how we're doing. Give us your input. That's going to help provide a more engaging experience and make this better for all of us. So look forward to reviewing those chats here at the end as we do a question and answer. But right now, let's go ahead and get started with our first product. So as we started off and mentioned, it makes sense to start at the perimeter of the building, right? If we're going to make an efficient building, getting access into it should be efficient. And it should help to the management and control of that building as well. So the first point of control would be an automatic entrance. How does this help a customer, a building manager, a property owner be more efficient in their buildings to provide a better use case or a better experience for the people that occupy those buildings? Well, number one, it's automatic. Sensors open the door for you. It's contactless. You don't have to touch it. You don't have to interact with it. You just approach, walk through. Something that was previously only available in Star Trek is now common in our world. You see it as you go into a grocery store, as you go into a retail store. All of them have automatic entrances now because of the benefits that it brings. What benefits can it bring? Number one, we already talked about touchless, right? I don't have to physically touch anything, helping to ensure the sanitation and the health of the people walking into the buildings. On top of that, it automatically closes behind me. And it has that with a motor. So what does that do for a customer? It helps them maintain the environment in the building, ensure the air pressure is correct, ensure that the outside stays outside and the inside gets to stay inside as well. I don't know about you, but my dad always asked me whenever I left the front door open, am I paying to air condition the whole neighborhood? Yeah, I thought he was, but with an automatic door, obviously you don't have those kinds of concerns. So it helps to bring that to you. And where we are today is, again, we came from our innovation center with the Switch Tech presentation. We're down in our training center today. And that's what we have here, is a setup where we bring in our customers, bring in our partners to help them understand the solutions, to get better at them, to learn how they work, and how to deploy them in an effective manner for their customers and for our end users. So they teach you all about the things in the header, the motor, the sensors, how those can all tie together, interoperate to bring intelligence to the manager of the building. So speaking of that intelligence, what is a vision of what that looks like? Let's go and talk to our first special guest today. He's right over here, so come join me. Let's meet him. So thank you for taking that tour around different solutions at the perimeter of a building. We'll talk a little bit more about that later, but we wanted to introduce our first guest today. Alex Houston is now the COO of dormakaba Americas, and we're excited to have him join our company. So wanted to get an introduction to him, see his thoughts around integrated solutions and improving building efficiency, and just get to know him a little bit better. Alex, thanks for being here.
Glad to be here. Thank you.
Awesome. So number one, really appreciate your openness with us as employees and the engagement that you've brought to the senior management team here for us employees out in the field. Really do appreciate that. I was watching your most recent broadcast out to us, and I noticed behind you an Indianapolis sign. I couldn't make it out because I didn't know what the shape was, so please, tell me what that is.
That's my home office.
Okay.
And that's some sort of modern art print of the shape of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, the oval track.
Okay.
And then the squiggly line inside is a road course they use for like the old Formula One race that used to be there.
Awesome. All right.
I bought that when I left Indiana a few years ago as kind of something to remind me of my time here, and fortunately I'll get to bring it back.
Appreciate you sharing that with us. Thank you very much, and look forward to having you bring it here to home office in Indiana. So what drew you to dormakaba, and what are you excited about over the next 60, 90 days?
Gosh, I'm really honored to be here because dormakaba is a terrific values-led organization. And when I look at our values, starting with customer first, courage, curiosity, performance, and of course trust, I can't think of a better place to start. So I'm super excited to join this team. You know, what's important to me is to always lead with those values and make all of our business decisions and priorities traceable back to those values. And I look forward to bringing a really good pipeline of product innovation, exceptional manufacturing operations so we can meet our commitments and earn that trust and deliver and support for projects that our channel and our end users and all of our customers have, and just be the best we can be as a partner and supplier in this industry.
Great. And I'm sure that the whole lockdown on travel and things have probably put a wrench in what your normal daily activity was.
I have not been on so many recorded and camera things ever before in my life. It seems that we spend so much time on Microsoft Teams and Skype, and look, these are really great tools, but the personal connection is really obviously missing. And especially in joining a new organization where there are so many customers, partners, employees, that I would like to be out and meeting, and I had planned to be out and meeting over these weeks. It's been painful. Now look, there's great opportunity ahead, and this situation will change the world. There's no question about it. You know, our responsibility is to find a way that's an opportunity for us and all of the partners we have in our marketplace, so that we can make a positive impact on this world. But gosh, I'd like to get back to old-fashioned business travel, shaking hands, sitting down, sharing a meal, and I'm eager to do that in whatever form or fashion we can as soon as possible. Now, we're probably in for a few more weeks and months of video calls, and I'm trying to meet as many customers that way as possible. And I notice a trend. At the beginning, you had maybe 20% of people you were on calls with turning on the camera.
Yes.
It's up to 85, 90% now. And I think we've all had those calls where we look and we see our own image and we go, oh wow, I didn't quite think about Indianapolis Motor Speedway over my shoulder either, but you know, I like that personal touch. It's a little bit different, unconventional, but if we're looking for glass being half full, that's one reason it is.
Yeah, I mean, for us road warriors, that personal connection is really nice to have.
It's nice to have.
And we certainly do miss it.
But we will come through this, and we'll get out there, and I look forward to meeting all of our partners and loyal customers, and it's important to me.
Yeah, I agree with you. Now, you've had a very prolific career in the access control and security space, building management. Would like to get your thoughts on what you see as the evolution of a connected building, improving efficiencies and things like that.
Look, interoperability is everything in connected buildings, and if you look at the very essence of a building and why they're created, it's so that you can control who is inside, where they are inside, when they're there. And anything you want to do to make a building productive, efficient, convenient, importantly, safe, secure, and compliant, and compliance is a very dynamic space, especially in the COVID situation. I think health compliance is going to become a very, very big consideration for customers in the future. But any of those factors in a building, you know, are heavily influenced by the sensors and systems you put in place. And as a security company, I'm very interested in this because our sensors are going to be there regardless. There are no buildings today without card readers, without access control of some type. And since our sensors are already there, our systems, access control software, is best positioned to bring those pieces together and become the intelligent building.
Beautiful. Yeah. I mean, if it's already there, why not utilize it in a more efficient way to bring
That's right.
Better things,
But
better intelligence?
that puts a big responsibility on us.
It does.
And we have got to ensure that our products are vital and our product roadmaps are pointed in the right direction. And we have to establish a good reliability for execution on that.
So in your opinion, what can we do as a manufacturer to help drive that with the solutions that we offer for buildings?
Look, I think standards in terms of communications and protocols are important. We want to think every time we produce a product and put a product in the marketplace that it has a purpose beyond its first intent. You know, we have a door, we've made that access, but now let's make that a critical sensor as part of an overall building solution.
Yeah, I mean, they're there, right? Tying into cameras and things like that in the building too.
And what that really means is that door, that latch, that lock, whatever it is, needs to have the ability to collect, manage, and communicate data.
Awesome. So getting that data, in your experience, what kind of connectivity evolution has been happening and what do you see in the future?
Well, first there have to be standards for how a product gets wired up. And increasingly, we've all been able to realize that that wire is just something that costs money at the installation and potentially problems down the road. And so buildings are going to be more and more wireless. There's going to be multiple wireless networks and wireless communication protocols in every space.
Yeah, I think about that. We're going to be talking about wireless connectivity a little bit later in our session today, so thanks for teeing it up for me. I'll give you $1 later. So as that evolution happens, are there any things that are top of mind for you as far as standards that are coming in wireless communication?
I don't know what the future holds precisely, but I would imagine that you know, we're moving in an evolution where something becomes potentially cellular. And you know, right now it's kind of an IoT world.
Yes.
And we have to have robust solutions that stay connected and provide reliability in that environment. And the future, I think, will look entirely different.
It will, yeah. In an ever-connected world with the ability to have smartphones and connections out to everything, transparency is going to be essential inside of buildings, and getting that connection is going to be really cool for that.
And from the life of an integrator, you know, how you bring up wireless devices on a network in a way, configuration and troubleshooting are really non-issues.
Yeah,
You know, that's a big consideration as well.
absolutely, because integrators are used to that wired connection like you were talking about, and that's very easy. I can see it, I can test it, but whenever we go into something we can't see, there's a challenge there, so it's got to be an easy connectivity. How about credentials for the access systems? How have you seen them evolve over your time in the industry, and how does that harmonize with building efficiency?
It's a great point. Look, I think one of our biggest opportunities is mobile. You know, when you think about it, this badge we all carry around, it's vital to the security plan of any building, but it's very easily lost without a great deal of immediate pain to the owner. That is to say, if the badge falls off in the parking lot, left in the rental car, whatever the case might be, my motivation to go look for that as opposed to have another one printed, it's not such an urgent situation. And that's a big hole. My phone, on the other hand, that's not something that I'm willing to lend out, leave behind. And because of the nature of a secure credential, the phone is a very powerful second factor of identification because it really carries your identity on board. And what you can do once you have a mobile credential inside of a building in terms of understanding occupancy and utilization, You know, these are important not just to operate the building and know if you have the right space and see how you can improve it, but you know, for very basic things like search and rescue after an emergency event, to understand where you may still have building occupants inside, to understand access patterns, flow, traffic. I mean, it's really important, really powerful. So again, carrying something like mobile credential, marrying it to capable access control software, it gives us the ability to take a facility and make it better in terms of efficiency, convenience, cost, compliance, safety, security. Anything we want to do is further enabled with this technology. Yeah. So I'm very excited about mobile.
I agree with you 100%. And if I think about, I've been asked questions about our Switch Tech product, go check it out, and the mobile credential there. And so people ask me during those presentations, what if someone forgets their phone? And it's a very easy question to answer.
Yeah,
because
you don't do that. You turn around and go get it.
Exactly. You walk out of the house, you're halfway to work, you turn around, you go home, you get your phone, and then you go to work.
That's right.
More likely, you're going to leave your keys at home and just ask the security guard to open
And
up
if your
for you.
phone's stolen and the thief can't get into the phone, then it's not your badge.
Yeah.
So it's a much more active device in terms of a partnership and security.
Yeah. How many people have the code to your phone?
Nobody.
Exactly, right? And that is the answer. The only person that knows mine is my wife. So, but I'm with you 100%.
Run a background check on that.
Yeah, so definitely agree. Layers of security in a device that everybody is familiar with.
That's
awesome.
right.
Really appreciate that,
That's right.
that input too. Alex, thank you very much for your input today, for your insight. Looking forward to your leadership, taking us into the next phase of what dormakaba can be.
You're welcome.
Thank
Enjoyed
you.
the conversation. Thanks for having me.
Appreciate it. So let's go over here and we're going to talk a little bit more in depth about entrance systems, how they can improve that building efficiency, the tie-ins that Alex mentioned earlier, and see what we can do over there. All right, Alex, thank you very much. Appreciate you coming. Have a great day. Hey, everybody, Alex had to leave, so appreciate him coming, his insights, and all that he had. Please keep those questions coming into the chat. Keep those comments coming in. Love to hear your opinions. Love to see your thoughts on what we're sharing with you today. So we're coming back to the perimeter of the building just for another quick minute to talk about another solution that's available. Revolving doors. So there's an oxymoron available with a revolving door that an automatic slider can't do for you. And it's the fact that it's the door that's always open and yet always closed at the same time. What does that do for building efficiency? If the door's always closed, that's helping to ensure the integrity inside the building of all the environmental controls that are needed, keeping all the elements, all the dirt, all the dust, all the nastiness of outside, and the integrity inside the building. Also, there are security devices available for revolving doors. When integrated into other access control solutions, help to prevent unauthorized access to your building. What do I mean? How can you do that? Some revolving doors have ability to do anti-tailgating type operations. So I have to access grant everybody that comes through it in order for it to revolve the entire way through. If somebody just tries to jump in there, well then the revolving door can stop, keep them locked in the door, and then we can have actionable things that we go do after the fact to take care of that solution. Integration into video systems for control, audits, compliance things that you need as well. Events, sensors around it to do people counting and things like that. I'm sure you've probably been through an airport, seen those sensors up in the ceiling. Not only are they determining which direction you're going so they can set off an alarm if you go the wrong way, but they're also counting the people that go through, giving them more intelligence on the activity in their building. Truly exciting solutions, especially as you tie it all together to make an integrated solution in an efficient building. Past those perimeters, past those automatic doors, past those revolving doors, you're probably familiar with another point of control. Turnstiles and physical access barriers that are inside of buildings. They bring efficiency to count the number of people that are going in various different directions and be able to provide that traffic control as well. Let's talk to someone about those solutions and see what he has to say about it. All right, we're going to connect up with Dave Rogers here let me get this started. But while I do that, please continue to enter your comments into the chat, questions, thoughts, concerns. We're excited to get those in there and continue to answer them for you. So let's see if we can get Dave on here. Dave, are you there?
Yeah, Dan, can you hear me?
I can. Thanks for being here, Dave.
Fantastic.
Awesome. You're looking good down there in North Carolina.
Absolutely.
Got a little sun getting the yard work in?
Yeah, better weather down here in the South.
Oh,
That's
please.
the benefits
Looking
of
outside,
living in the
it's about
South.
to rain. Here in Indiana, it's about to rain. So we've got Dave Rogers with us here today, Business Development Manager for Pass Systems at dormakaba. So appreciate you again, Dave, for taking time out of your busy day to be with us. I mean, it seems like we're busier than ever now, even though we have to stay at home, right?
Yeah, surprisingly enough, it's been extremely busy.
Which is a good thing, double-edged sword, right?
Absolutely.
So Pass, help me understand what that is.
So physical access systems is really a division within entrance systems. You know, when you think of physical access systems, it can be anything from a tripod turnstile that you might see going into a ballpark, to an optical swing lane in a high-rise lobby, you know, to security revolving doors, interlocking doors. So when you're at an airport and you go through the one-way corridors, the exit lane breach control equipment, that all falls within the PAS or physical access systems within dormakaba.
Makes a ton of sense. You're physically controlling access with some barrier type devices. Understood. Thanks so much. So what kind of efficiencies can a customer utilize or realize with a building manager or something implementing these type of solutions?
So when you think of efficiency, at least when I think of efficiency, I think of time spent, space, money, energy. And when you look at PAS, just as an example, security revolving doors, you know, allow for high throughput. You can process people simultaneously, both on entry and exit within one unit, within a small footprint. So it takes up a smaller space. You can process a lot of different people. Also with the optical swing lanes that you might see in a high-rise building, integration into the elevator system, so that when you present your credential to go through the lane or the turnstile, it calls an elevator and reduces the amount of wait time that you might normally have. So, you know, PAS and the integration portion within the building and the smart aspect help save time. If you look at energy, you know, with revolving doors and the reduction in air infiltration in comparison to swinging doors or sliding doors, when you use a security revolving doors, you don't have the same air infiltration. So there's an energy efficiency there as well.
That's awesome. So you mentioned integration. What does a typical integration look like? You mentioned about optical turnstile tied to an elevator system. What other types and how is it accomplished?
The most common would just be, you know, your Prox reader. And when you think of the integration, most commonly it is your credential to get into the building. And that could be, you know, single factor. It could be multi-factor. So you can have biometrics required to get into the facility as well. You know, I would say one of the things that really needs to be taken into consideration when you're doing that is the footprint of the device that's mounting onto our equipment, whether it's biometric or not, being able to accommodate that. But your typical unit is going to have, you know, proximity card, biometrics, maybe prox and a pin, but you generally see biometrics more in the data center vertical.
Yeah. Are you seeing any kind of larger adoption around biometrics, particularly touchless type evaluation of people?
Yeah, really yes, I mean, there's been an increase in the amount of biometrics that are used. In the past, biometrics would generally be used in corporation with, you know, the interlocking doors, where maybe you have a biometric within the two interlocking doors. which offers a higher level of security in comparison to maybe a biometric reader that's on a swing door where you present your credential and the door's open and you can still go in. Biometrics has been has really largely been used in the interlocking doors because it makes sure that the person is who they say they are and that they are the only person that's going through the door.
I'm sure that really helps to improve the accountability in a facility, being able to implement those things, ensuring that, number one, you are who you are, and that you're the only one going through. That's awesome. So as these solutions get deployed for end users, what's the typical path to market for them? And then what do you evaluate in a marketplace when selecting a partner?
Most commonly, the physical access systems equipment would be sold through the systems integrator, so a security integrator. There might be an independent door company. When you start getting into the revolving doors and the interlocking doors, there's more of a competency level when it comes to installers as opposed to technicians when it comes to the security revolving doors and interlocking doors. But largely, most all of physical access systems is going to go through a systems integrator.
Great. Is there any kind of core competency or specific type of staff that would make a system integrator better prepared to deploy these types of solutions?
Yeah, when evaluating the integrators, the capability for them to install is key. Many of the systems integrators have technicians, but when it gets to physically erecting a security revolving door or an interlocking door, that starts to weed out some of the different integrators that are there. But really evaluating them and their capabilities and being able to handle that really is key for us as a manufacturer.
Awesome. It ties well with our theme today of integrated solutions tied through a system integrator, being able to ensure building efficiencies, making sure the right people are in the right places at the right times, and ensuring that integrity inside a facility as well. The elevator thing blew my mind. I mean, if an elevator was waiting for me and ready to go to the floor that I'm supposed to go to, that would be phenomenal. I can't imagine what that would do at places like New York City or something like that.
I'm expecting that in every building I walk into now.
I am too. Dave, thank you very much for your time being here today. Really appreciate your insight, your knowledge about the solutions and how it can help buildings become more efficient. So now that we've talked about the perimeter, we've gotten people into the buildings, we got the right people in, we're maintaining all that integrity through all these different solutions. Let's talk about things that we actually can't see in a building. Let's demystify wireless a little bit. Come on over here. We'd like to thank Dave again for his time sharing physical access systems with us. Appreciate your insight, Dave, and the knowledge that you shared with us. So now we're going to move into the building. We've talked about the perimeter, we've talked about turnstiles and things like that, how that can control people in, but now inside the building, what other solutions can be deployed for access control that can integrate, make a building smarter, and then what challenges are associated to it? So, question we'd like to ask you, get your input on. Have you ever installed a wireless lock? Also, was it a challenge for you? So take a look at those two questions, give us a response, we'd love to hear from you. Also, any other your questions that you'd like to ask us, continue to flow them into the chat, let us know your input. Truly appreciate all the engagement that's happened so far with everybody on the line. Thank you so much. So as we look at access control, the majority of us are familiar with hardwired access control and what it does. The real-time, instant notification, instant control, instant everything associated to it because it's online all the time, always being monitored, and can truly provide security in a building. So we're familiar with those things. They've got those advantages that we just talked about. Cons to them or disadvantages, it's costly to deploy those solutions. So what can we do? What balance is there in providing value versus cost associated to a customer? If they're willing to accept a little bit of degradation, wireless locks are an awesome solution to deploy. But some have had challenges with it. So let's take a look at wireless, what it is in a building, how to effectively deploy it, and things to look out for as you're doing it to ensure that it's interoperating with all the other systems that we talked about. Because not only is it access systems, there are other wireless things. The Wi-Fi network, wireless thermostats. You've got IoT devices everywhere nowadays, as Alex was talking about in our interview with him. The deployment, the proliferation throughout everything. There's a ton of wireless things. You can think of it as if we're walking through a fog that we can't even see because all those things are coming at us. Did you know one of the worst wireless things is a microwave? What? How is that possible, right? If you're ever looking at a wireless spectrum, turn on a microwave and see how bright it lights up. It's crazy. It's awesome. So here I have a rudimentary drawing of a building. My caveats here, please. For my architectural specification and code compliance officers that are on the line, please don't judge me on my door swings. I may have them going the wrong way. The widths are not to scale, so if they're not of the appropriate width or anything like that, I apologize. And also for the artists on the line, I apologize that you have to see this drawing. I spent the majority of my time playing an Atari growing up, so probably just dated myself too. How about that? All right, so anyway, I didn't do all that kind of stuff. So here's just a basic building. We've talked about what I'm using as an illustration for a revolving door. We've got our sliding doors here. We've talked about that. We've got the people in the building. They're through the turnstile, and now we're into the doors. Where I have my perimeters, that's where we're talking about that need for instant control, instant lockdown. We're willing to go through the expense because keeping people out of the building is essential. Now we move in, and we're getting away from maybe a security device to an access control device. Yes, it provides all the monitoring that you would need in a wireless lock set, but it doesn't give you that real time. No manufacturer can claim that they give you real-time notifications out of a wireless lock. So deployment of that. We've got different locations in this building that could be utilized for a wireless lock. So just highlight them here really quickly with our red circles, right? So 6 additional doors to provide additional control for this customer, giving them more intelligence about the movement of people, allowing them to integrate into other systems like their HVAC, crowd control, electrical systems, whatever, based upon occupancy and so forth. Wireless would fit very well into these scenarios to be able to provide the system. But what do we need to be aware of, right? So wireless, because we can't see it and because we're walking through this fog of other wireless signals, are around us all the time. We have to be cognizant of positioning any kind of gateways or panel interface modules or other things like that to communicate to those wireless locks in a position where it can effectively cover where we need to talk to, right? So in this scenario, this would probably be a decent place to position one, or here, because whether you know it or not, this elevator is all reinforced concrete, and that makes a challenge for wireless signals to go through, right? So something to be aware of. And it would be awesome if we could come in here and illustrate that the wireless signal from these things is just a beautiful circle, right? I don't know how well this is showing up, but green circles around there, trying to illustrate a nice circle pattern for the wireless signal from that. That does not ever happen unless if you're deploying it outside where you have line of sight to everything, right? So that shape really doesn't happen because I've got this desk, I've got these walls, I've got these elevator channels that this signal bounces off of. So it's really essential to make sure that you do a survey, evaluate the wireless environment to see what kind of range from the positions where you're doing it to be able to evaluate and confirm that that signal gets out there. Other things to consider about this, and just a nice little plug for something that dormakaba is doing. We talked about earlier with Alex about designing to standards and making sure that we do that. So we've approached that and looked at the market and found that one of those easy standards to do is the Mercury panel. Mercury Security, their integration of their access panels to a bunch of different systems allows for an easy path for them to adopt and integrate the solution to. So being able to utilize that path into the access system provides for easy deployment by those software companies, but then getting the reliability that a YQ lock can provide. The YQ locks have the built-in ability to do a survey where I can position my gateway out there, connect to it from a cell phone, and evaluate from the different positions to ensure that I'm getting a good signal. Easy to do, easy to deploy. All you got to do is plug a gateway in, connect to it from your cell phone. Really nice for doing that. Then we put the intelligence out at the door, which really separates it to be able to control the access no matter what is happening in the building. So that's nice to look at, but what kind of wireless signals are out there? Let's just take a quick look at that as I spin this board around, and I hope that everything doesn't come crashing down on me as I do it. All right, so I think I'm good here. All right, so let me just do this so I can see it a little bit too. You can see it, right? I can see it too. Awesome. So 3 primary different wireless signals are being used in the marketplace today. So the first one, I like to refer to as the fullback, right? Or the tight end that is going out there. Illustrated in this is how it communicates. This is the sine wave associated to 900 megahertz. You may remember that from cordless phones that you got. You're probably familiar with a product out there that utilizes this. So that is your workhorse. The beauty, the advantage of this, long penetrating signal, right? It can go through walls a little bit better than other things. Your drawbacks to it, it's a slower frequency, can't carry as much data. So while it's good for getting through various devices, it doesn't allow for a lot of intelligence to be sent along that signal. Next would come Wi-Fi, right? So Wi-Fi, and again, for my scientists, for my RF engineers, for my people who are way smarter than me on this, please, these are just illustrative and are not to scale. So Wi-Fi is a 2.4 gigahertz frequency, right? So it operates faster. It's outside the range of 900 megahertz, so the two can interoperate pretty well. And then Wi-Fi is broken down into 3 channels. Those channels are 1, 6, and 11. 6 and 11, right? That's what's out there. And there are different forms of Wi-Fi. We could spend an hour talking about this stuff, but I know your time's valuable. We appreciate what you've given us. We'll do our best to answer any questions that you have about this, but none of us are RF engineers in the room. By the way, there's only 5 people in the room. We're keeping socially distant and appreciate respecting the restrictions that are in place. So the last one I want to talk about, so this is Wi-Fi. Nope, I don't want to write that in green because I'm not drawing it in green. Wi-Fi. Awesome. So the last one is another 2.4 gigahertz frequency. All right, so it is in this same area, but a little bit different. This 2.4 gigahertz frequency goes by the IEEE standard of 802.15.4. Please apologize. Oh my goodness, my handwriting is horrible. So that's what happens when you're in front of people talking and trying to write at the same time. So 802.15.4, you may be familiar with the Zigbee, right? Different manufacturers utilize it in different ways. What does it provide? What advantage does it provide? Provides that low frequency, or excuse me, high frequency, so you can put a lot of data on it, but it also provides you 2 channels, or it breaks down into 11 to 26, 15 different channels, which allows you to interoperate or select the appropriate place, where it starts at 11 and goes all the way through 26. If we did this math, this 11 equals channel 24. So Zigbee, or this 802.15.4, allows for interoperation, right? I can put my Wi-Fi traffic over here in channel 1, and I can put my 802.15.4 traffic over here in channel 25 and 26, so that the two can coexist in the same airspace. How it happens, I'm not 100% sure, but I know that in a crowded room, if I am close to myself talking to each other, I can hear the person I'm talking to better. And if the other conversation is happening over here, I can't make it out. So that allows for that separation in the same airspace and then allowing that interoperability to happen. So now we need a way to tie all these things together. We need a central nervous system, if we go with a body analogy, right? Something to control it all. All these different things do different parts. My arm doesn't do what my leg does. I need something to coordinate it all, a brain, a central nervous system to take care of it. Let's talk to our special guest this week, or at this live stream. With RS2 on the line, we've got Jeff Bransfield. Let's go talk to Jeff. All right. Let's see if we can get this working here. All right. Jeff, you there? Jeff.
Oh, hey, Dan, what's going on?
Not much, man. Appreciate you being here. Sorry for dropping the Zoom bomb on you.
Yeah, I apologize. Multitasking like I always do.
Hey, we got to do it, right? I don't know about you, but I'm busier than ever.
Ever.
Right? I mean, you
Luckily,
would think
I've
that
got
we're staying in one
five
place.
monitors up in front of me here, so.
That is fantastic. I love it.
Yeah.
Well, Jeff, thank you for being here. For the people on our stream today, this is Jeff Bransfield. I'd like to introduce him. He's the National Sales Manager for RS2 Technologies, focusing on the access control market, a national distributor of access control solutions with a robust integrator network behind them, supporting end users out in the marketplace. Jeff, thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you for having me.
No problem. So I see behind you, just want to say congratulations on the Chiefs victory last year.
I appreciate
Champions
that.
coming in. Hopefully there's a season and they get to defend that, right?
Well, that's our hope, right? I just want to shake somebody's hand again. Those are my thresholds.
Exactly. I would have loved to have been doing this with you in person, man.
Right, exactly.
So please, I know about the RS2 platform, the Access It software. It's an innovative solution out there in the marketplace. We'd love to understand a little bit more about RS2. Can you give us some of your core values, the messaging around your solution?
Yeah, we focus on one thing at RS2. We consider ourselves to be a best of breed product, right? So our go-to-market really is to focus on the things that make us good at who we are, and that's support, innovation, open architecture, things like that. Our overall message is we do one thing, right? We make access control software. That's all we do. So we don't manufacture a part, a piece, a widget, a thing other than our product that we've had and managed for over 20 years now. So that's kind of our main message, is to be good at one thing, and that's the one thing that we strive in every day.
That's awesome. It's something that I know you need, that you feel the same way, that we need in our industry. People who are focused in on providing innovation, getting really good at what they do, and I hear and have seen a lot of that from the RS2 organization. So appreciate you sharing that with us. So the theme of our discussion today is a smart building. And what have you seen in your experience in the industry, working with your partners and your end users, about the convergence inside of buildings and the need to tie all these things together?
Yeah, I mean, that's the biggest thing. The biggest message we're trying to get to our integrator community is, the end users have needs that they don't even know that exist yet. So, when you're working through a consultative approach to security, which is the angles that we play with our partners, we like to go in on an arm-in-arm approach with our integrator partners, with our OEM partners, and really try to figure out what the solution needs to be and build around that. Instead of going in with a portfolio, here's a folder of all my stuff, right? That's not how we work, and that's not how this industry needs to be operated. But instead, really kind of understanding the need, the challenges, the budgets, the deployment, the environment, and building solutions around that and then rolling, with it from there. And the beauty is with open architecture, with integration capability, we have the ability to fill a lot of those different needs in a lot of different looks and feels as we roll out. So no system is ever the same. Everything feels different. Everything needs to be different. So that's an angle we play. Yeah.
I could certainly appreciate that. I've been in this industry for 20 years now, and I've seen a lot of people try to fit square pegs into round holes. So it's awesome that you guys are listening to the needs of the customers and designing the solutions around that to bring these harmonized, sophisticated approaches to solving their challenges. So you mentioned your partners and walking hand in hand with them. When you're evaluating a marketplace, what are you looking for in an integrator partner to be a partner for you?
Yeah, I mean, first and foremost, we focus a lot on loyalty. We focus a lot on that service component, similar to how we model our business to them. We look for that partnership for the integrator that models that towards their customer. Our go-to-market really kind of comes around, our customer is the integrator. The integrator's customer is the end user. And if we keep that boundary and help them sell to their customers, that's the type of person we like to go in with, because they don't have that tail light warranty. They stand behind the product. They help, through the longevity of that system. And that customer is typically theirs for life. When we go in with that attitude, we don't lose customers very often.
That's awesome. And that's one of our core competencies too, or excuse me, not core competencies. We try to be really good at it, but it's a core value for our organization, putting the customer first, building that trust and establishing that. Alex talked about that earlier in our presentation today. So lockstep with you right there, and truly see the value that brings in the marketplace. So around the Access It platform, what would you like to highlight that really differentiates it from other solutions that are out there?
Yeah, I mean, really, one of the things we're very proud of is the software was designed from day one to be user friendly. It was designed really around the casual user, the guy that comes to work and has 40 other things to do before lunch. Well, maybe he goes downstairs to his basement now and does 40 other things before lunch, depending on where he's at. But the focus of his day is not, I'm logging into access control, I'm managing my system, and that's all I do. Our software is built for very intuitive interaction, very open need, being able to get in, get out, get the information you need. I say all the time, a good access control system shouldn't be open today, right? Unless there's a problem. And that problem is either somebody did something bad, I need to add or onboard someone, I need to make a change, right? There's something that's different today than there was yesterday. That's typically the drive behind access control. And if we build it that way to be in the background, I'll let the video guys have all the fluff and the fancy and the sexiness of security. I don't need it, right? We want to be unknown and in the background.
Yeah, it's kind of funny when you think about it that way, right? The people who are most effective with your solution don't have to visit it very often, and that's a testament to the design, to the innovation, and to your partners deploying it in an effective way. So I know, in line with that, not having to visit it every day, there's a lot of automation that's capable inside the Access It with tasks and macros and stuff. Tell me a little more about that.
Yeah, I mean, really, the word automation is what the industry is asking for. They want ease of use. They want automation of the system around the identity, right? So if you build the flow, the workflow into automation, I mean, automation in theory is integration. We utilize integration to get to automation. That's how it all works. And if you can kind of think about it as a holistic approach to those systems, we can do that. And I kind of make light of it, but through our software and through our tasks and macros and our workings with the Mercury hardware, I can do anything that a customer comes up with. I mean, literally, I joke that I can have your popcorn in a bowl and at your desk by the time you get there if we wire it all right. So it's all doable. You can do anything you want.
You say popcorn in a bowl, that makes me laugh. I remember back whenever I was a technician training people on how to do it, I would always say that the salesman told you that it'll make your coffee in the morning. Well, this is how we're going to make that happen for
Absolutely,
you.
yes. And I'm still
So
the same.
appreciate that. So as a manufacturer of products, what can we do in order to facilitate, make it easy for your organization to adapt to your open architecture, to integrate into the Access It platform?
Yeah, well, one of the key pieces of our partnership was centered around the Mercury platform. I mean, that's how we consume the integration with the YQ product. That's how we want to consume products, because that's at the core of what our software is built functionality wise around. So if we can consume these integrations through the Mercury platform, and we can keep that that continuity of everything that we want to do in and around that panel and that function, then that's the best scenario whatsoever. We have a lot of integrations that go outside of the panel, a lot of integrations that are third party, but really at the core, the best ones are the ones that are consumed through the Mercury platform that give us the most capability of what we can do at an opening. Wired, wireless, any way you want to spin it, right?
Beautiful, yeah. We're excited about our partnership together as it resides around the YQ product, the IDH Max solution. So getting that comprehensive hardwired wireless solution, and hopefully here in the near future the Switch Tech platform as well. So we can provide access control across all those different needs inside a facility. Really do appreciate that. I didn't mention it at the beginning, but I know the chats have been flowing in. We appreciate all the people on the live stream continuing to communicate. We've got RS2 experts on the line to answer those things, and now we're going to go and transfer into a question and answer session. So I need to get out of this hard chair and into my thinking chair, so I'll be right over there.
All right, sounds good.
Awesome. Love getting to my thinking chair. It's way more comfortable than that black one over at the desk. So let's check in with those polls. Let's see what your thoughts were about wireless locks installation and if they've been challenging. And it's amazing. 75% of those that responded to the poll have installed a wireless lock. That's phenomenal. Good to see that it's getting some adoption out there, that we're increasing the access control that customers can provide in their facilities and then bring even more intelligence to what they do. So for the other 25%, happy to help you understand it a little bit more. For those that did install it, this has never, ever, ever happened in the history of polls. It's blowing my mind right now. I'm sorry. It is a 50-50 split. Exactly 50-50 split between those that had challenges and those that didn't. That's just blowing my mind. I don't even know what to say right now. Thank you everybody for participating in the poll, and hopefully what we've talked about today around the building and surveying for wireless signals and the different things that are out there can help make those that had challenges with it previously, make it easier for you to deploy it in the future. So thank you for the active engagement. And now it's time to have even more. So it's time to do the question and answers. And if you watched the last live stream time for Switch or the Switch Tech launch, you know how I feel about questions. So I'm excited to hear about them. So who wants to give me the first question? Anybody? All right,
Yeah.
Jill, give me a question.
We've got some questions flowing in. First one here, hopefully we still have RS2 on the line.
I see him.
First question is, with deployments of the YQ locks and the fact that they're wirelessly communicating, does that limit the number of users from being able to manage them from within the Access It platform?
We get that often with deployment of wireless. Often people think, can I have the same abilities? I mean, we have the ability through that lock set to push the card holders that need access to that door through there. The beauty of the YQ lock set is it retains that information. So as soon as we enter it into the software and it pushes out, we actually do push that down to the lock set. So it's there.
Fantastic. Yeah, that's one of the great things that we're able to leverage, right? A little different than a standard Mercury setup, in that intelligence gets pushed down there. But in the Access It software, adding wireless locks, it doesn't limit the number of card holders you can put in it, does it?
No, no, it's really based on, some memory capacity and things like that. But we only push the card holders that need to be there down to the devices. So, you could have a system with 100,000 card holders, but maybe only, 10,000 people need to be pushed down, that type of thing. So we control that through that flow.
Fantastic. Even more intelligence. Love it. All right, Jill, hit us up.
A very popular question here. What is the average battery life for a wireless lock?
Whew. If I had $1 for every time I was asked that question, I'd be sitting on a beach in quarantine, not here. But so battery life for any wireless lock is dependent upon how often it communicates and how often it's used. So the higher those numbers go, the lower the battery life is. So it's really a balancing act in order to ensure that you're getting the information to the lock and information out of it as quickly as possible. I'll speak specifically to the YQ product because that's our solution, or the E7900, which is the Kaba wireless lock as well. So for us, if you're looking at it, we have right around a standard beacon time of 60 seconds in order to get updates down into those intelligent devices. And at that 60-second beacon with 50 uses a day on 4 AA batteries, we're confident in telling you you're going to get 2 years out of those batteries. So the other beauty for these solutions is those events are low battery, or when the battery's starting to get low, come back into the Access It platform or the software platform that it's tied to, so that you can proactively go change them in order to be able to ensure continuity of control and access into those doors. Great question, appreciate it. Jill, go ahead.
Yeah, with these solutions that you were showing earlier, can you sync or integrate with an ERP system or other software management systems that help cross business indicators with access data?
Beautiful. That's a good question. So I'll kick it off, and then we're going to give it to Jeff too about how Access It can do that. So the beauty of data is that data is data. It's ones and zeros that sit on a computer, and they can be transferred back and forth between each other. So it's dependent upon how the ERP or anything would need to pull in that information, and then how it can spit it back out to where it needs to go. So Jeff, what kind of tools are available with Access It to facilitate those kinds of things?
Yeah, I mean that's very open. We can pull data from various source types. We can push data out of Access It into different systems throughout. We operate very, very well in the higher ed space, and that type of client has a lot of data needs. Right, they need a lot of automation. They have a lot of ask for. I need to grab something from here, do whatever I need to do, add fields, grab unique IDs, etc. So yeah, we work with ERP systems all day long. We have utilities built into our software that make it very user friendly. Our data exchange utility allows literally just adding fields through a UI. It makes it so simple. A dummy like me can set up an integration to an ERP system.
A dummy like me. Oh, Jeff, you crack me up, man. All right, Jill, hit us up. Let's go.
Yeah, how does the cost of deploying wireless really compare to a traditional hardwired opening?
Great question. I can tell you from my experience, and then we'll let Jeff throw in some color to it. You're looking at probably right around half as far as cost is concerned. Industry averages for a hardwired system, depending upon locking and wiring and all that kind of stuff, vary between $3,000 and $5,000 per opening. So wireless would be right around that $1,500 price point. Jeff, what's your experience?
Yeah, I echo that. We see it quite often when we're driving deeper into buildings. Those exterior doors are still high level, high need. They want online all the time. Those are traditionally the hardwired openings. But as we get deeper into the tertiary layers of a building, the use of wireless technology really takes that labor component out. It takes all the environmental features, like think about a hospital, how much goes into having to pull one ceiling tile to pull cable. those types of things. So that labor component really gets pulled out of those deployments to make it a lot more cost effective.
I had to put up those tents around the ceiling tiles whenever I was an installer. No, thank
HEPA,
you.
yeah, that's great.
No, thank you. All right, Jill, go ahead. Give us another one.
Are we looking at ways to incorporate the technology that we have for glass swing and glass sliding doors?
Integrate technology that we have in glass swing and glass sliding doors. So we were fortunate enough to have Alex talk earlier today about the need for our platforms to work together, to tie together in a harmonized, standardized way. So we have a vision at dormakaba. We've had a lot of acquisition, partnership, pulling together of companies, and now that we're all under the same umbrella, how can we harmonize those things all to work together? So a lot of effort behind the scenes, a lot of technology, and a lot of smart people working together in order to do that. So yeah, there's grand visions, but as we can understand, these things are big, things are heavy, so it takes a little while to move them. So we've got the plans, we just got to get them in action and move them forward.
Next question.
Sorry, the camera moved on me.
Any specific cyber security concerns with going wireless?
Cybersecurity concerns with wireless. So I'll kick off, Jeff, or actually, you know what, Jeff? I kicked off last time. You kick off this time. What's your experience around that, and then I'll add my color.
Yeah, I mean that's a big topic as of late, and continuing to be everything that we build around. I also have Tim Bahari on the line as well with us. He's our product manager, and I think he can speak a lot more to the encryption. I mean, might as well. I got him queued up, so we might as well include him.
Jeff, awesome idea. Let's let the smart people answer the question.
Yeah, I mean, from the aspect of encryption, I mean, we support encryption end to end, right? So from our server down to the panel is encrypted communication. Our communication between the panel to the gateway is encrypted, and the encryption between the gateway to the readers over wireless. There's also encryption there. So, I mean, really, there's a very minimal risk in doing this. It's a very secure technology. You can't beat encryption along those lines. There's no way to hack it or anything along those without very advanced techniques and things along those lines. Encryption's a very secure thing. So you're not going to really encounter any issues in terms of cybersecurity there. We make a very concerted effort to make sure that everything is encrypted, and we're using high-level encryption as well. I can't speak to exactly what the encryption they're using between the gateway and the wireless, but between everything else, we're using 256 AES. So very secure in that nature. There's not really any wiggle room to get around that type of security.
Beautiful. Thank you, Tim. Appreciate that. From gateway to lockset, we're at AES 128-bit encryption, so making sure that data integrity is there, moving it between the two. So on top of that too, I think a best practice in the industry would be a security VLAN, so that customers can dedicate all their security stuff, all those things into a dedicated space, and am able to ensure that only the right things communicate on that VLAN. So a nice best practice to recommend to your customers. Their IT departments will know about VLANs all day long and may even suggest that as well. So awesome, yeah. Ensuring integrity of data, cybersecurity, huge thing in the marketplace today. Come on, Jill.
Yeah, last question here for the whole crew. Where can the audience go to learn more about the RS2 integration and technologies when it comes to hardwired versus wireless?
Tim, Jeff, hit it.
Yeah, I'll field that one. I mean, first and foremost, I urge you guys to reach out to our regional sales manager team. All of our contact information is at www.rs2tech.com. So under the contact info is all the regional sales managers throughout North America. Feel free to pick up the phone, call me at any time. I'm always sitting pretty much right in this chair, responding to emails, etc. at any given moment. And then we also have some guidance that we're drilling a lot more information into the rs2university.com. This is a website that we're using for a lot of our trainings and a lot of our sessions like this. I believe we're going to rebroadcast this live session as a recording, posting it onto the rs2university.com site as well. So feel free to check us out online and then have those conversations with your RSMs and reach out to your integrator, your dealers, if you're the end user channel, and we definitely would like to take that next step with you on that consultative approach to what's the best fit through the building. It's not just an opening thing. So
Jeff, Tim, thank you so much. Everybody, if we didn't get to your question, sorry about that. We will make sure that we get answers to you and everything. So as Jeff mentioned, we're going to have a landing page. We encourage you to go to it. I believe it's Jill, tell us what the landing page is.
dormakaba.us/connectivity.
Awesome. We'll have links there out to different solutions that we can provide for a connected smart building. We got links there to RS2 and also links to register for prizes, right? So go out, get in to that website, register. And speaking of smart building, one of the most iconic buildings in the United States, this 1,767 piece Lego building set of the Empire State Building. Some fun activity to do while we're still at home, talking with our kids, build it together, engage with them, all that kind of fun stuff. And for those that are on here that missed ISC West this year, like I did, right? Who doesn't love going to Vegas during March Madness? We're gonna throw in a little Vegas skyline too. So we're bringing Vegas to you. Enjoy it, look forward to it, get out there, register to win. We'll be selecting that winner shortly after this in order to be able to give you time to get registered and come in. So, holy cow, that was a lot, right? A lot to cover today. So we're gonna have this posted and available for you to go and check out whenever you want to. Jeff mentioned on their website as well, wherever you wanna engage with it, feel free. So if you picked up on it, the start or the theme around this was community, things operating together, interoperability, a neighborhood. And I'm from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and a big thing for us is Mr. Rogers, right? So that was our go-to for the start here, right? And Mr. Rogers always encouraged community, engagement with children, education for children, and things like that. In the times that we're living in right now, that is absolutely necessary, ensuring that we keep that sense of community, that neighborhood, in order to keep engaged with each other and to support each other as we're dealing with these trying times. So we encourage you to continue to do that. If you see a healthcare professional, a frontline worker, a delivery person, thank them. Elbow bump. Give them the appreciation that they deserve for their battle against this challenge that we're up against and for their support for all of us. Tip your waiters, tip your waitresses. If you can, engage with local businesses. Let's do our part to bring the economy back as quickly as we possibly can. And so, as we finish up here, again, encourage you to go to dormakaba.us/connectivity. Sorry. They make hard words that simple guys like me can't really understand. But I'm not going to hang that up. So thank you all for being here. As we finish up, we thank you for being here. We thank you for your participation. We thank you for your partnership, for your engagement, for the questions, the answers that came in. As we end now, stay well, be safe. We look forward to hopefully seeing you here in the near future. We'll talk soon. Bye now.